Welcome everyone, and thank you for being here. Thank you for recognizing the need, as I do, something very close to my heart, the Shalom Sanctuary Center. I apologize for not being here this morning. I had a previous commitment, but know that my heart is with you, and I want to say hello to all my dear friends who are out there this morning. I want to thank Evan Lubine, Chief Executive Director for Hooverwood Living, and Han Meadway, who's in charge of the Shalom Sanctuary, for recognizing the need and wanting to help fill the void. I also want to make a very special thank you to Sharon Mishkin and her beloved Sid of blessed memory for providing the substantial funding to create the Shalom Sanctuary Center, for understanding the need, and for doing this in loving memory of Sharon's mother, Libby Lasky Bender. Sharon and Sid have served for the last 28 years as my role model and a role model for others, a teacher and mentors, applying the teachings of Torah on Tikkun Olam, which means repair of the world, and also on Gemilat Hasadim, acts of loving kindness. 6 years ago, I worked for Prevail, an agency in Hamilton County that works with victims of crime and abuse. Through working with my clients, through learning about other clients through my coworkers, and from having the crisis line upon occasion, I learned about this vacuum that we have in social justice. There are very, very few emergency shelters for victims of elder abuse. Whether it's because the shelters are afraid of taking the medically frail, whether it is because they are concerned about insurance, whatever the reason, not only in the state of Indiana, but across the country, there are very, very few shelters that will provide emergency shelter to the elderly. In fact, the Shalom Sanctuary is the only one in the state of Indiana. I want to share a war story with you from when I worked at Prevail. On rare occasion, I would have the crisis line. And on this one particular evening when I had the crisis line, it was about 11 o'clock at night, an elderly woman called the crisis line, crying, "My husband's trying to kill me. I locked myself in the bathroom." I could hear her husband banging on the door, threatening her within an inch of her life, saying, "I'm going to kill you." I immediately called the police, and the police were able to get there in time to rescue her. But I didn't have any shelter to offer her. And when her husband was to be released from jail 48, 72 hours later, she had nowhere to go. I had no shelter to offer her. Had she been a woman of more middle-aged, there were shelters that I could offer her. There were other opportunities I could offer her, but not for this woman. That's when it really hit home that we have to do something to help our elderly abused victims here in this state. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for opening your hearts and recognizing the need and assisting to provide a solution for our vulnerable elderly population. This is truly an act of loving kindness. This is truly an act of Tikkun Olam, repair of the world.